Hi friends, thanks for joining me. I have such a fun layout to share with you today. I'm using part of the wildlife collection for Bramble Fox, and in particular I'm going to use Lazy Days and Just Chilling set and these fabulous sloths, which are my favourite. I'm also using Stencil 40, which again is one of my favourites, and there are some cut files which I've used to add to my layout too. So the wildlife collection is superb. There are loads of really cute elements. I did get carried away once I got the idea and couldn't stop myself. So it is pretty huge, but it will be around for a little while. So if you need to spread the spread out the purchases, you won't have a problem there. So my thought is I'm going to lay the leaves across the top of my page, and I want to hang one of the sloths from the top of the page there. So in order to ground it all, I'm going to lay down some colour with those with the stencil 40, and I'm using Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn. I have got a couple of other greens. I do find Twisted Citron, I love it, but it's a bit yellowy. But I didn't have another green that I could alternate with, and I needed two shades really. So my tip with this is to use your finger dauber or a small brush, because there are bits of the leaf, especially on that, is it Montserrat leaf, whatever they're called, Montessera, not Montserrat, Montserrat's place, that stick out. You need to go from the outside inwards, because normally you would go inside outwards. So just do be careful when you are blending with that. I don't know if you can see there, but I've gone from the outside and pulled the colour towards the inside. So I might add small leaves later on, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel for what I needed. Now I've got some twine there, which is brown twine, which I'm going to use, hopefully, like, you know, some jungle vines. I really have this picture in my head of little sloths hanging from jungle vines. I don't know where that came from. So because it came off a reel, it's nice. I like this twine because it's quite thick. You know, it's a nice medium brown, and it just, I don't know, just kind of curls nicely. And yeah, I've done this sort of thing before. So I'm just going to lay some randomly around the page, because I'm not really sure what shape it should be, and equally it should be quite random, I guess. And I'm going to cover a lot of it up anyway with those die cut leaves. So as I say, I've cut these leaves out on my silhouette, and we have got this as a cut file in the shop too. So I love leaves. I think, you know, every layout could have a leaf on it, quite frankly, which is why you see quite a few leaves in stencils and elements in the shop. And I'm really liking how that looks, and normally I would faff around for a few hours pushing the bits and pieces around, but I'm really trying to concentrate on my procrastination now. So I'm just going to go with it, and it worked brilliant for me today, because the extra faffing wouldn't have got me any further, and I managed to get the whole layout done probably in the best part of an hour, which is incredible for me. So as you can see, I've cut the leaves out also in two tones. If I'd have got a darker green, I would have gone for that, but that's all the greens I had. And I did think about colouring the leaves myself with inks. So really that would have required me probably making a background with the green and then cutting out my silhouette. But I would have had to let it dry, and that would have taken more time. So, and I did want to get this finished in one session if I could. So having put the leaves down, I have stuck some down, and really what I wanted to do was actually just outline the leaves. You know me, I do like to outline my stenciling. I just love the little effect it gives. Very subtle, but when you look at the close-ups you can really see It just gives it that little bit of definition. And I'm just using, once again, a 0.1 light grey fine liner. It's a uniball one, very common to get hold of, so if you want something similar, very easy to get hold of. So I'm just roughly going around those leaves. I don't want to be too perfect. Oh, the dog's come to join us, so you'll hear the padding of the feet in a minute on the floor. So it is very subtle, and no one's going to notice unless you look closely. So I'm then going to add those die cut leaves, and some of them I've bent and just shaped with my fingers just to give it a bit of dimension. Always a necessity in my book. I'm just overlaying them randomly in clusters. Sorry, I had to stop for a sneeze there. It's still about 500 degrees here in the UK today. So I'm staying close to a fan, or as close as I can get. But it kind of goes with my tropical theme, I guess, put me in the mood. So actually this is a photo of my son on one of those, what are they called? Hammocks, at the beach when we were in Mexico a few years ago. Thought it was perfect for that Lazy Days title. And sloths have a reputation for being slow and lazy, aren't they? So they're just adorable. So perfect for a nice chilled out layout. And the kind of the main part of the layout is at the top. That's where all the complexity will be. So the rest of it's going to be really quite simple. I'm just going to map the photo onto some paper, and the paper collection I've used is Endless Summer by Echo Park Paper. And not particularly, I did buy the, what's that new collection called? The Wild Thing, no, Wild something or other from Simple Stories, to go with this collection. But I did feel like that was a bit too jungly, whereas this is kind of more beachy and summery. So perfect for a summer collection. And in fact, I haven't actually used much of it anyway, so you could use an old collection really. You could just use the paper snips that are available in our wildlife collection, or just some of the random bits and pieces that you might have. So I am going to lay some colour down behind those leaves. So I don't know if you've been following, but I've been doing this also a lot lately. So I'm using a shimmers, I think it's called Blue Lagoon, which I've watered down, and I'm just going underneath the leaves, as you can see, with the paintbrush. I've been naughty and left my paintbrush in the pot, so it's gone a bit of out of shape really, so it wasn't easiest to control. But I'm basically just going to lay a little bit of colour down randomly behind everything. It kind of gives it a bit of a shadowing effect, and just adds a little touch of subtle colour. So if you are not a big mixed media person, this would be a great technique for you to use. You can just kind of build up a bit of colour. So this is really simple. So I've left all the complicated mixed media stuff to the other girls because they're far better at it than me. So I'm just doing very simple bit of colour to the background. So it's very controlled. So because I have a tendency, if I go too nuts, it just goes everywhere. So I'm a bit hopeless. So I'm sticking that little hanging sloth down, and because it's going over my twine, I'm just sticking it down to make sure it is stuck to the twine firmly. Very cute, those sloths. I think I need about 4 packs of those. They're just so adorable. So as usual, I feel like I said this last time, I think I'll keep doing the same thing where I keep putting clusters in the same place. So hopefully it feels different to my last one, but it's probably because my theme's very different. So I'm going to use those stickers at the bottom there just to add a bit more interest, bring your eye down the page. But if you've got any sort of summary stickers, or you could use, I did think about using, there is a palm tree stencil in the shop which I used recently, and it's fantastic fun to just build up a palm tree, whatever shape. There's a few trunks there and a few different types of leaves, and it's just a lot of fun just to make those. But because I've done a lot of stenciling already, I thought I'd use up some of my stickers, because I think I've done 3 layouts with this set and I've used about 3 stickers, so I don't want it hanging around. So I'm just clustering up some of those stickers here and there, popping some up on foam tape. My apologies, it fell off the screen there. Got a little pair of trunks, but I think I ended up covering most of those up anyway. And for me, the secret is really just to layer and layer and cluster. That makes it really easy. Now, I think I put this away, or finished the video, and then did a load of things extra at the end. So I did add a flamingo to that cluster there with at the bottom left of the photo. And just to make my vine a little bit more realistic, I am just going to add some little tiny leaves. I just used one of the die cuts, or one of the leaves that I cut on the silhouette. But I'd run out of those anyway, so I'll just cut them by hand afterwards. And they're just simple leaf shapes, skinny ones. So I just used a pair of small scissors to make some later on. But I don't think that's on the video. I think that is on the final layout. I'm always the same, so I kind of finish and then put a few more things on. But that is more or less it really. So I've added a flamingo, some extra leaves, and I added the new zip detail on the right hand side of my photo. You'll see that at the end. So that is dies number 12, I think it is. I'd forgotten about those, and I just loved it, and I cut it out and I thought, I just need to add a bit of detail to that photo. So a bit random. But my intention was it's more about detail than actually being about jeans and zips and so on. Paper snips. Yes, I did add some journaling from the paper snips. So this is number 10 that coordinates with that wildlife collection. And as always, I've got a mixture of colours. I've got some black, white on black, which are my absolute favourites. I should really just do loads of those and suit myself. So I've got black on white, white on black words, and then some elements at the bottom. I've saved some of these for my next layout. And I was going to add one of the epoxy stickers to this and then couldn't find them. So I think I've either used them up or lost them. So a top tip would be to store them somewhere safe. I think I know where I've put them now. I think I stored them somewhere safe, but not where I remembered. So that is it for the video. You'll see on the close-ups, as I say, I added that zip detail to the right of the photo and the flamingo. And there's the cute little sloth. He's so adorable. I really hope you like this layout. I had so much fun making this. I want to make another 3, but probably that would be a bit too much, I guess. But yeah, you find all the details in the description with the links to the wildlife collection. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken to spend looking at the video. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks then. Bye.